Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's topic will be on differentiating the letters based on the siffah of the running of sound, the presence of running of sound in letters and the absence of the running of sound. Now, when the sound of the letter is imprisoned, it gives the letter its strength. When you imprison the sound, when you block the sound from running out, the strength of the letter increases. Okay, so to give the letter its strength, there is always imprisonment of sound. But when the sound is let to run, it makes the sound less strong. That is the opposite of being strong. It makes it weak. It makes it soft. So the terminology that is being used here is the strength, the imprisonment of the sound gives us the letters its strength, and this strength is called Shiddah. Okay, so what is Shiddah? Shiddah is defined as the strength in the letters, right? And in applied definition, it is defined as the imprisonment of the running of the sound when pronouncing a letter, and this is due to complete reliance on the articulation points. So all the letters also have complete reliance on the articulation points. And since the reliance is strong, and since there is imprisonment of sound, this gives the letter its strength. It makes the letter strong, right? Like how in human beings, right? A person's built and the willpower makes him strong. The same way here, the imprisonment of sound makes the letters of Shiddah strong. So when you look at the letters of Shiddah, you will notice that all these letters, the sound is imprisoned. Okay, in all these letters, the sound is imprisoned. We were talking about makharij, and as I was explaining makharij, I would always say whether the letter had sound imprisoned or whether there was running of sound. Okay, we also talked about the air, running of air, or whether it didn't have running of air. So all the letters of Shiddah, and if you look at the letters of Shiddah, these are the letters of Shiddah over here. Another easy way of remembering is using this methodology, right? The one they have over here. Ajidu qatin bakat. Okay, I normally go with this one because it's easy for me to remember, but you can use any one. But this is what they use in the poem of Jazariya. Ajidu, actually it is qittan, but here it is qatin bakat. Okay, so you can use this, or you can use what I normally do, because this is for me easy. I remember the letters of qalqala, and it is qutub jid, and then I add a hamza taka. Okay, so it's up to you, because this is just a method, a mnemonic method to remember the letters. So when you look at the letters of qalqala, you will notice that all these letters strongly rely on their articulation point, right? In qaf, back of the tongue rises up to the soft palate, and the sound is imprisoned. So that there is no way the sound can run out. That's the reason why you also have the qalqala. The ta, again, the tip of the tongue is touching the gum lines of the front incisors. Again, there at that point, the sound is imprisoned. Okay, for ba, the sound is imprisoned at its lips. For jim, the sound is imprisoned in the middle of the tongue, right? When the tongue is, if you remember the letters of Shajariya, the middle of the tongue rises up and it touches the hard palate, the middle of the tongue. So jim, again, the sound is imprisoned. In da, again, the sound is imprisoned because the tip of the tongue is completely in contact with the gum line of the front upper incisors. Now in hamza, ta, and kaf, hamza again is a letter of Shiddah. Okay, here the sound is coming from the bottom of the throat. Okay, and there is closing of the sound at the epiglottis level. In ta, again, the ta the sound is shut at the tip of the tongue, is imprisoned in the tip of the tongue. And in Kaf, the sound again is imprisoned from the back of the tongue when it touches the part of the palate that meets it touches the palate where the soft and the hard palate meet. So in these letters, if you notice, every letter has imprisonment of sound. Okay, and that gives the letter its shiddah. It gives its strength. The imprisonment gives it its strength, and because of the strong reliance of these letters on their articulation point, it also gives strength to the letters. So if you also notice, most of the letters of shiddah are letters of jahar, except a few. Which ones are they, sisters? Who can tell me which are the letters of shiddah that are not the letters of jahar? One, can someone volunteer and tell me which one? Okay, keep okay, I'm sorry, we are recording this. I forget, sorry. Yeah, so okay, we'll discuss this later. I'll ask this question again later after the class. Okay, so now you keep in mind and write down which are the letters that are the letters of shiddah but not the letters of jahar. Okay, the next one, the opposite of the shiddah letters, the opposite of shiddah are the letters of Rakahwa, and Rakahwa means softness in the sound. If I look at the letters of shiddah, if I put a hamza before qaf, and I say aq, if you notice the strength when I say aq, right? If I say at, you can notice the strength. Also, what I notice is when I put a hamza before the letters and give the letters of shiddah a sukoon, I notice the pause. The pause. What is the pause here? When you have sukoon on a letter, sisters, it gives the letter, the sukoon makes the letter, the sukoon means a pause, right? So then when you add a hamza to the letter with the sukoon, you are pausing on the sound of qaf. Okay, the haraka makes the sound of hamza move, and then when you join it with the qaf, qa. Okay, the qaf sound is not moving anywhere. There's a pause in the sound of qaf. Now for all shiddah letters, the pause is very short. Okay, the pause is very short. I don't say no, I say aqo. The pause is very short. Keep that in mind. Okay, when I look at the Rakahwa letters, Rakahwa letters is the opposite of shiddah letters. And what are the letters of Rakahwa? We know the letters of Rakahwa. We'll come to the letters of Rakahwa, but what does Rakahwa mean? Softness. And how do you get softness? Because there is less reliance on the articulation point and there is running of sound. In shiddah, there is imprisonment of sound. In Rakahwa, there is running of sound. Okay, and this running of sound weakens the letter. Okay, it contributes to the weakness of the letter, and also its weak reliance on the articulation point. The letters that have this characteristic are all the letters that we are going to see in here. If you remove the letters of tawasut, and we didn't do tawasut. Let me talk about tawasut too before I tell you the letters of Rakahwa. But just keep in mind, Rakahwa is softness. The softness is because there is running of sound. When the sound is running, it weakens the letter, and also because of the weak reliance on the articulation point. So let's look at tawasut, and then we'll come back to the letters of Rakahwa. That will make it much more easier. What are the letters of tawasut? Now, tawasut here is in between Rakahwa and shiddah. Okay, tawasut is in between Rakahwa and shiddah. So what do I mean by in between? Here there is sound partially stopped and partially running. Okay, here there is two things happening. In the letters of tawasut, there is one place where the sound is stopped and one place where the sound is running. So it is not completely stopped. It is running at one point and it is stopped at one point. So what are the letters of tawasut? The letters of tawasut are the letters of lin umr. Okay, lin umr. So if you keep remember lin umr, you will not forget this. So what is the mnemonic way of remembering lin umr? So lam, noon, ain, mim, and ra are the letters of lin umr. Now why is this? Why are we saying that these letters have partial running? If you remember, in the letters of in the letter lam, if you remember, what is the letter, the makhraj of lam? The edge of the tongue, right? The edge of the tongue and the tip of the tongue is touching the front top 8 teeth, right? The 8 teeth of the front upper jaw, which are the central incisors, the lateral incisors, the canines, and the molars, the premolars, right? So these are the 8 teeth that the tongue makes contact with, right? So where does the sound run out of? It stopped at that point. The sound is imprisoned at the tip of the tongue, the tip on the surface of the tongue. It shuts off the sound. But if you look at what is highlighted in green over here, look at this one here, sisters. This part, this is where this is where the sound is stopped, but it runs out from the side. This dip in the tongue lets the sound run out. So there is, if you remember, we haven't done this Siffah, but when we do the Siffah, you'll understand. So there is stopping of the sound at the tip of the tongue, but the dip on the side of the tongue lets the sound run out. Okay, look at this diagram here. Here the tip is where the sound is stopped. From the side, the sound comes out. So there's partial running of sound here in one, and there is complete stopping of sound in two. Okay, so this is for the letter lam. How about noon and meme? Let's go through noon and meme. The sound for noon and meme, you remember noon is again a tip of the tongue letter. The sound is stopped when the tip of the tongue touches the gums of the upper teeth, right? But where is the sound running out for noon? The sound is running out from the nose, because there are two areas, right, where the gunna is happening. So there is sound running from the nose in noon, imprisoned at the tip of the tongue and running through the nose for noon. For meme, the sound is imprisoned at the lips, because remember the makhraj of meme are the two lips, right? And where is the sound running from? It's running from the nose, giving its special character, which is ghunna, right? So both the letters get their ghunna because the sound is running through the nose. Okay. Then how about the letter ra? The letter ra, you can look at it this over here. Over here in letter ra, the sound, the letter ra, the tip of the tongue is touching, the tip and the surface of the tongue is touching the gums, right, of the upper teeth. The sound is running from the middle here, shown in green over here. It's running from the middle, okay? And the rest of the tongue is stopped at the edges over here, which I'm showing you in blue, okay? The sound is running in green here, it shows in green, and the sound is imprisoned at the edges over here, which is a little opposite compared to lam. So that's the reason why you call these letters the letters of moderation. Okay, there's moderation in the sound. There's not much strength in the sound compared to Shiddah. How about Rakahwa? The Rakahwa are all the letters. When you remove the letters of Shiddah and the letters of tawasut, the remaining letters are the letters of Rakahwa. Now look at, I'll show you the letters of Rakahwa. When I put a sukun on the letter of Rakahwa, let's take Sheen over here, as I've pointed out over here. You have the letter Ash, right? Ash. So when you give Ash, are you doing the right thing? No, you're giving the Sheen a lot of strength. Ash, Ash. That's wrong, okay? You don't do that for Rakahwa letters. There is softness in the sound. Ash, Ash, Ash. How about Ghain? Look at the letter Ghain. Now Ghain is a thick letter. Okay, now thickness doesn't have to do with strength, okay? You have big burly men. You have big heavy men. You cannot say because they look big and heavy, they are strong. They can be real weak inside, right? The same way, ghain is having a heavy sound. But when you say the sound of ghain, okay, you don't, there is, the sound is flowing. Okay, don't say aw, aw. When you say aw, you end up making qalqala on ghain. Okay? Yeah, you make the sound, you're imprisoning the sound. Let the sound run for these letters. Aw. The same for kha. Kha is again a letter of Rakahwa. Set the sound run. Ah, ah. Okay? So all the letters of the Arabic huruf, if you take out the letters of Shiddah and the letters of tawasut, are the letters of Rakahwa. Okay, and this is what is considered a weak character. Rakahwa is a weak character, and tawasut is a character that is neither strong neither weak, in between. And Shiddah is a strong character. Now keep in mind this, sisters. I'm going to keep this, I'm going to write this down. I want you to see it and I want to carefully look at it. Okay, the letters of Shiddah, their pause is shorter than the pause of the letters of tawasut, which is shorter than the pause of the letters of Rakahwa. I'm using the greater sign here, the lesser and the greater sign. So if I look at the letter of Shiddah, if I put the, give you an example. Okay, I'm just going to give you an example here. Letter of, I'm going to give you an example for the letter of Rakahwa here. Okay, let's start with the letter of Shiddah. The sound aq. See the aq. So when the pause on the qaf, when I put a sukun or letter of Shiddah is very short. Okay, aq. The pause on a tawasut letter, a noon, which is an example here is noon, is going to be a slightly longer pause than the Shiddah letter. And okay, the letter of Rakahwa, the pause is going to be the longest. Akh, akh, akh. So when you see the letters of Shiddah, make sure you are quick in making the pause. Don't prolong it. When you see the letters of tawasut, make sure you make the pause a little longer. And the letters of Rakahwa, the pause is going to be the longest. So if I say letter of Shiddah, the pause is going to be half second. The letter of tawasut, 1 second. No, 3/4. Let's make it 3/4. And the letter of Rakahwa, 1 second. Okay, half a second, 3/4, and 1 second. Okay, I hope that makes sense, sisters, inshallah. We'll stop the recording.